Well, hello and welcome to my latest video. Yes, well, hello indeed. I really must stop doing that. I've been looking. This, by the way, I'm standing in front of. I don't know if you can see this. This is my Fairlight Seacan gravel bike, and a wonderful bike it is. And I've been watching a number of videos on YouTube by some of my favourite YouTubers. And they're given titles like 6 reasons why you need a gravel bike, or 6 reasons why your next bike should be a gravel bike, or why is a gravel bike the best bike you should buy right now. And I'm here to say that in my humble opinion, we need a bit of BBC balance. So this video is going to be about 7 reasons why you don't need to buy a gravel bike. So listen up, folks. Reason number 1, there is no gravel. Now, I'm a member of the Old Portland Cycling Club, very good club. If you want to find out more, go to www.oldportlandcc.co.uk. And we were having a committee meeting a few months ago, and I said I wanted to start doing some gravel riding because it was the in thing. And my mate Kev said there are no gravel routes in southern England. He said, I've ridden every route, mountain bike and road, between here and Swindon, and there are no gravel routes. There are a few bridleways which you're allowed to ride on. There's a few footpaths which you're not allowed to ride on. There are byways if you're going to find one of those. And there are what we in Kent are pleased to call roads, which are usually rough surfaced goat tracks, occasionally used by the Romans in the past before they introduced goats into this country. But there are no gravel routes. So forget it. You don't need a gravel bike because you haven't got anywhere to ride it. So that's reason number 1. Reason number 2, it's a bike, right? Look at it. It's a bike. These are handlebars. You see this? These are handlebars. These are wheels. These are 2 wheels. These are frame. Okay, it's got pedals. It's got a chain. It's a bike. That's all it is. It's not a gravel bike. It's a bike, for Christ's sakes. Get any bike you want. You don't have to have a gravel bike. Why does it have to have a name? Why does it have to be a road bike? Why does it have to be a touring bike? Why does it have to be a cyclocross bike? Why does it have to be a gravel bike? Why does it have to be a commuter bike? Why does it have to be a hybrid bike? Why does it have to be an e-bike? Why can't it just be a bike? It doesn't have to be a gravel bike, and you don't need a gravel bike, which brings me neatly on to reason number 3. It's all marketing hype. Right. Now, a few years ago, a gravel bike's been around for donkey's years, ever since donkeys started riding bicycles. Gravel bikes have been around for years, but then suddenly, somebody somewhere, in advertising in one of those open plan empty offices with Scrabble tables and bean bags sitting around, said, I know, why don't we give a bike a new name? Because everybody, well, not everybody, but people like Julian, for example, will go out and buy a bike with a new name because it's the in thing, and let's call it gravel bikes. And the best reason for calling it a gravel bike is there is no bloody gravel in southern England that you can ride. So the marketing hype came along, and then the photographers came along, and they said to these guys, they're either old guys like me, but better looking, with great big bushy beards, right? They're like that. And they wear kind of waistcoats and they silly caps like they wear in Peaky Blinders. And they say, right, we want you to get on the bike and look like an old, cool guy, probably plenty of tattoos. I haven't got any tattoos, by the way. My son's got a tattoo. But we want you to get on your bike and we want you to run it around and we want you to look cool. And so they ride their bike like this and they look cool. They look to the side of the camera and then they take a photo out. And then they Photoshop it onto Iceland or somewhere like that. So the guy, this old guy now, right, who's probably completely knackered, he can't ride a bike to save his life, he's got a big beard, he's got a few tattoos, he's got some of those silly Peaky Blinders caps, and he's riding through the ice floes and the rock fields of Iceland on his gravel bike, and he's searching for adventure, or he's going beyond, or he's go the distance, or it's find Lake Me. That's it. He's gone for a ride on his gravel bike and he's gone looking for Lake Me. So it's all marketing shit. Don't buy into it. Don't swallow it. Don't believe it. Don't buy a gravel bike. Reason number 4. And this is possibly the most important reason of all. You see what these are? I don't know if you can see this in the video, right? Don't know if you can see this in the video. They're a bit below the screen. They're wheels. And what do the wheels got on them? Tyres. And what sort of tyres are there? Yes, you guessed it. They are tubeless tyres. Tubeless tyres are the worst bloody invention in the history of the world. Tubeless tyres do not work. Don't take my word for it. Well, take my word for it. But if you want to know why you should take my word for it, there is a link to a video up here, down there, all around. There is a link to a video called Tubeless Tyre Rant, and it is about why you should never, in a million years, put tubeless tyres on your bike because they don't bloody work. I have tried. This is my garage, by the way. Look around you. There are hanging up in this garage no less than 46, count them, 46 tyres, most of which are tubeless, most of which were tubeless, and most of which are now useless pieces of shredded rubber. Tubeless tyres are shit. Take my word for it. And gravel bikes, they always extol the virtues of tubeless tyres. They say these wheels are tubeless ready, as if that's some kind of a great thing. If they're tubeless ready, no, they're not tubeless ready. They're not ready for the road, they're not ready for tyres, they're not ready for anything. If they're tubeless ready, they are unready tyres. Don't buy them. Reason number 5. You don't need another bike, right? This N+1 is nonsense, right? I have a few bikes. I'm lucky I have a few bikes. I've sold most of them, not got so many anymore. I have a few bikes. You can only ride one bike at a time. Who was it who said, what's the point of having 2 pairs of shoes? You can only wear 1 pair of shoes at a time, right? You can only wear 1 pair of shoes at a time. You can only ride 1 bike at a time. And if you have a few bikes, I bet you're like me and you have a go-to bike. You have a bike that when you're going to go out for a ride, you go into the garage or your shed or wherever it is and you find your bike, and you take it and go for a ride. You don't think, shall I take the Bentley today? Shall I take the Lambo today? Shall I take whatever it is Johnny Depp decides when he wants to go out for a drive in his car? He has to choose which car to ride. No. If you've got a few bikes, you have a go-to bike, it's your bike that you prefer, and you might as well just stick with that bike and get rid of all the others. So you don't need another bike. Not only do you not need a gravel bike, you just don't need a bike. All right? I'll give you another reason. What do they say you can ride on with a gravel bike? Apart from gravel, when there is no gravel. They say you can ride on bridleways, right? Now, I've tried riding on a few bridleways around Kent. Bridleways are shit, right? And the reason they're shit is they are full of 4 or 5 of the things in life that I hate the most. Horses, dogs, children, old people, walkers, right? Now that is 5 things you do not want to share a path or a bridleway with. Now why do you not want to share that? Because they hate you. They hate cyclists. If you ride past them, they give you this, like, why are you on a bike? Why are you spoiling the beauty of the countryside? As if you're on some kind of motorbike on a scrambler. And the horses, they're haughty people on their horses, and they look down at you. And you always have to go along at this incredibly slow pace, because you don't want to startle the horses. And then if you go past with somebody with a dog, you have to go really slowly in case you startle the dog. And if you still do startle the dog, and then it tries to bite your fucking hand off. And then you go past some old people. And if you're lucky, right, when I say old people, by the way, I mean older than me. If you're lucky, they'll kind of smile at you and say hello. Well, if you're unlucky, they'll smile at you and say hello. But normally they just give you this kind of thin-lipped expression. And they're always wearing these kind of crag hopper, is that what they're called? These waterproof trousers. And they have a map in a plastic bag around their neck, and they have a silly hat on like that. And they have big sticks and thick boots. And they walk along like that. And it's like This is our countryside. I'm sorry, didn't you get the memo? This is not for cyclists. This is our countryside. If you point out, right, if you're mad enough to engage in some kind of conversation with these people and point out that actually, by the way, you are perfectly entitled as a cyclist to use this. I don't think so. I think if you check byway number 432 in the Conservative Walkers Handbook, you will find out that cyclists are not allowed on this path. So, bridleways are rubbish. You're not allowed to ride on footpaths on a bicycle. If you can find a byway, and you can never find a byway, a bridleway is a little shit-covered ditch full of things that you do not want to share the road or the path with. So, forget it. Bridleways are the only thing you can ride on. If you're a gravel cyclist, you can't ride on a bridleway, so forget it. Give it up. And my final reason number 7. I don't know if you can see this, but this is what is called a top tube bag, alright? And this, over here, you see this? This is a bike packing bag, right? This is a bike packing bag that goes on the seat tube, and you fill it up with all your sleep system. That's what they call it. That's a sleeping bag and a tent. And you fill it up with your cooking system. That's a little gas cooker and a pot and some water. And your shitting system. That's a little roll of toilet paper and a spade, so you can dig a hole in the forest when you go out for your bike packing ride. And you go out and you pack it all in your bike, right? That's why it's called bike packing. And you go away for a night or a weekend or a week. And you go bike packing, all right? Except, no, you don't. You do not want to go. You do not go bike packing. The reason you don't go bike packing is you don't want to go bike packing and find some miserable, damp clearing in a forest covered in twigs and fox poo, and find a place to put up your crummy tent and then try and get some sleep, and it's desperately cold at night and it pours with rain, and all you've got is this rubbish bag of pasta that I like to use on the Apollo 11 flights, only don't taste as nice. You don't want to go bike packing. Believe me, I don't want to go bike packing. I've got a bike packing bike. I've got bags you can take to the moon. I've got enough stuff to go bike packing. I do not want to go bike packing. What I want to do is I want an American Express card plus a Visa card, because some places don't take American Express cards, right? I want an American Express card. I want a toothbrush, and I want a 5-star, occasionally 4-star hotel, and I want my bike, and then I want somebody to drive behind me in a car that's got all my kit in it, so that when I get to the hotel, I can say, my bags are in the car, and the man or the lady will come out and he'll take my bags up to the room, and I'll say, put my bike away in the garage, would you, good man? And then the next day I go on my bike and go out. I do not. I'm 64 years old, for Christ's sake. I'm not going to sleep in the open air. I'm not going to get in a tent. I'm not going to get in a sleeping bag. I do not need a gravel bike to go bike packing, because I'm not going bike packing, all right? And you're not going to go bike packing. No, you're not. No, you're not. You think you are. And you've said all your mates you're planning a micro adventure, right? You've met up on Zoom with all your mates and you've organised a micro adventure, and you're going to go to Dartmoor or Scotland. The only 2 places you can wild camp in this country legally, unless you want to park on a verge somewhere and get covered in fly tipping. That would be an ideal situation, wouldn't it? You're not going to go bike packing, so forget it. You do not, under any circumstances, need, want, have any intention of buying a gravel bike, because believe me, next year or the year after, it's going to be something else, and then your gravel bike is going to sit in the garage or in the shed, or it's going to go on eBay, because you're going to want that next thing, and that next thing is going to be a complete waste of money and a complete waste of time as well. So there you are, 7 reasons why you should not buy a gravel bike. So the final thing I would say is if you do still, despite everything that I've said, want to buy a gravel bike, the Fairlight Seacan is a great bike, but it's just a bike. Thanks for watching. See you next time.